Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 13 of What If Naruto Was a Genius Experimenter. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto became the most powerful shinobi to protect his younger sister, and enjoy that guys. And also if you're new, yes, I did have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button, links will be down in the description, so go ahead and enjoy that guys. And don't forget to turn on that bell notification to see exactly when I post and what time guys. So without further ado, what is we leap right into this new episode. Start the intro. So the last spot we left off with the death of Hinata, and it was looking like Kumo did it ever more and more. However, they refused to take responsibility. The meeting between the two Kages were said to be at the Land of Iron as the boat party arrived, but while that was going on, several things were happening. Anko was in a strange capsule. The marking on her neck, Naruto had been infused in the cells of the Senju and the Uchiha inside of it. However, slowly it started to activate and flood through her bloodstream. That is why she felt so much more stronger. However, because of Naruto basically being in charge of the Land of Snow, he was able to gather the necessary funds to build a rather ingenious capsule to use the cell of the Sage of Six Paths to mix all of that together. A rather difficult task to do without the capsule. However, Naruto's foresight and genius took him to a whole nother level to doing that, where he put Anko inside as she remained for days, allowing her body to melt together, allowing these cells to awaken the Rinnegan that he implanted in her eyes, to make it so her body would be fit for the motion when finally activated. So with that out of the way, Naruto decided to make his move. Over the time, Naruto had swapped out one of Orochimaru's Stone Ninjas, who cater for Sasuke means, like meals and all that, with the, loyal subject of his Haku, who was able to get Naruto inside. At night as Sasuke slept, Naruto inject him for months now, allowing Sasuke's mind to be free so when his genjutsu take place. Sasuke's motive started to shift as he needed help, he needed backup to kill Itachi. And one way of doing that was to take over Orochimaru's entire operation. His mind became so used to the idea, when the time came, he jumped at it, he did not hesitate. Because Naruto had plans. Yukimaro was there when it happened as Sasuke went to face Orochimaru. Orochimaru was not 100%. To make matters worse, he did not know about the Mangekyou. That is why when Sasuke activated the eyes, it shocked him to his very being. The eyes were powerful and intense, as Sasuke was able to kill the man and take control of the Land of Sound under his reign. The information was not to be let out, as he slaughtered those who opposed him. The Sound 4 arrived along with Kabuto, as they could not really go up against him, knowing that if they did, they would die. Those eyes were, ingenious and powerful. Yukimaro was unfortunately cast up in a blast that ended up killing the child, as none of them knew the real reason though. When Gurin got there, she was shocked and angry. She marched straight to Sasuke's side. Sasuke knew that people like her would never join his side, so he tended to eliminate her as he fought against her. Gurin was powerful in her own right, but Sasuke, with the Mangekyou, was on a different level. As his eyes were getting glossy though, he couldn't use this forever. As he was about to kill her until one of his subordinates, the one that he was now in charge of, decided to rebel at that moment, allowing Gurin time to escape. As she ran, he told him to gather her and bring her back before she leave this island. However, Gurin ran until she collapsed. But before she could be taken in by them, she was rescued by none other than Naruto. Meanwhile, the Kage summit. Both Kages were relentlessly torching each other's name as they refused to submit to one another. Mifune tried to get them to work it out peacefully, but it was already done. The actions that were taken would not go unpunished. The Raikage refused every notion that they set. He would not bend his will to any of these leaf ninjas, no Hokage, no one. His village would not be so breaking to come to a loss by them. However, Snelly refused to let this go as well. Thus, actions of war was going to be started between the two. It was already done. It was just for the first one of them to strike, and then all hell would break loose. The masked men of the Akatsuki gathered all this information from Zetsu, as the tides of war were going to be taking place. However, the masked man has been frustrated over the past couple of months. First, the one tail go missing. Second, the three tails go missing, as the beast did not recover from when it was killed by Mitorumi when she faced off against Yagura. The nine tails Jinjuliki was all for count dead. With the amount of chakra the nine tails possess, he figured that it would take at least a couple of years. So far, the time had passed and yet there has been nothing. No sightings, no development. It seems like someone else was out there doing something behind the scenes that he was not aware of. He was the one behind the scenes plotting and doing everything, yet here he was being played by someone. As Zetsu did not know who it was either, but they will find out. The Akatsuki goal was to gather the tail beasts, and they were not going to rest until that objective was completed. While that was going on, Gurin woke up as she came face to face with Naruto. He told her what happened and stated that he phoned her in. She wanted to kill Sasuke. She was now vulnerable. She lost everything. Yukimaru, her previous master, she had nothing left. Nothing left to live for. However, the rage at losing Yukimaru, she didn't want to die. She wanted to kill Sasuke, but she did not have the power to go up against Sasuke. But Naruto could help her. At her weakest moment, he decided to abandon her, saying that he couldn't afford the public eye on him, as he had to leave. The girl was truly broken at losing everything, and even losing him over the past few months that she's been having strange dreams about. However, he asked her to join him, to be as loyal to him as she was loyal to Orochimaru, to be on his side, and he would make her dreams come true. Sasuke was too powerful and she didn't know if he could. However, he released his power and she felt it. It was so overwhelming, so powerful, it brought her to her knees. As something inside her mind just snapped as she felt that power, that all-encompassing power that she'd never felt before, not even from her lord. As this was the power that she needed, as she bowed to serve him as long as he helped her. As Naruto had her right in the palm of his hand, his plan worked perfectly. On the other end, Uncle woke up. The procedure was faster than Naruto thought, as all of his subordinates there watching had to send messages back to their master that she's been awakened, as those eyes were not the same as the one that she went to sleep with. So yeah guys, basically that's what I thought. If you guys can switch across the play section of yourself, let's begin this new episode guys. We begin this episode at the undergrounds of Uza. Gurin was unconscious as she was currently in a tube. A tube big enough to support her entire body. There was strange blue liquid inside. She had several markings around her body, full jutsu markings, that was helping with the process. She wanted to become stronger. As she needed to become stronger, and Naruto, he was a man of his word. The Sage of the Sixth Path was the originator of the two famousest bloodlines, the Senjus and the Uchihas. The Uchihas possessed the visual capability, which is now granted to Anko. The Rinnegan is a far more superior power to any other visual dojutsu, which will make her supreme. However, the Senjus were not anything to scoff at. If there was one man that stand above it all, it was Hoshirama Senju. With the Mohitan, he became literally unstoppable in his time. A man that was praised to be the god of shinobis. Power so powerful he was feared by every single shinobi in the nation. His power was the literal personification of a deterrent. He was strong enough to prevent all war because his power. All who stride against it will be eventually crushed. While Anko possessed the visual side, Gurin possessed the physical side, even her crystal release. They were as tough as steel. It was her body that needed to keep up, her stamina, her speed, everything else. That is why Naruto will make sure that she was ready to face the world at his side, as she will need to be a whole lot more powerful if she's gonna stand by his side. She told him to do whatever it takes to make her stronger. Gurin loyalty known no bound. She was willing to give her entire body to Orochimaru even though she knew that she might not exist anymore. And all of that loyalty fall right in Naruto's palm, as she was willing to do anything. She was brokenly physically and mentally, and when Naruto placed his mark on her, it assured her in her mind that he was the one, he was the person that she was meant to serve. The goal to kill Sasuke Uchiha was still there and as strong as ever, however, her master. She need to serve him and she need to be strong to do so. However, the process will take a time. Senju DNA wasn't easy to mix. However, the seals and the pod will help him with that. And also, Naruto was using the Sage of Six Path Cells. Hoshirama cells were on a different level. However, the Sage of Six Path Cells was the thing that everyone needed, but none was able to get their hands on, as they were helping with the process greatly. While that was going on at the Hidden Leaf, Sakura Haruna stood in her backyard as she was going over the scrolls that were given to her by Lady Snetty. Ever since what happened recently, her master wasn't able to teach her and focus much on her training, even though there was just a few things left to wrap up. However, Snetty wanted to push Sakura to the extreme to make sure, just in case anything happened, she could take over as the head doctor of the hospital, and maybe even one day succeed her after all. That is what she was training her for. So she gave her several scrolls to continue to study on her own until she had the time, but with the upcoming events, she doubted that she would have much time, but Sakura didn't need that more physical focus though. She already taught her what she needed to know. It was up to her to just make sure that it was suitable for her case. Sakura knew what was coming. Almost every able shinobi knew what was coming. With her being a Chunin now, she heard the rumors as well. War was coming. Kumo refused to apologize or give Konoha what they seek. And Tsunade was not going to have it. Hayashi on one hand was furious. The man has never been so furious before. Usually calm and stoic, however his eyes were burning with rage. You could see it almost at every meeting. Kiba Inazaka had thrown himself into a regime that could almost kill him. He worked day and night. Usually Kiba wanted to get stronger for several different reasons, however now, all of that reason was just for one thing: revenge. He wanted to kill every single Kumo ninja that wronged him. The ones that took Hinata away, he wanted them to die. Kiba loved her. Almost everyone knew that. They didn't know about the complete infatuation, but they knew about the crush. And she was here on his team. For the past few years, he has been building up the courage to finally ask her out. The one thing that stopped him was their friendship. He didn't want to ruin that. However, the fascination that he had with her never went away, and to see her like that, and to know that the ones that did it was still out there, it infuriated him to no end. That is why he has been pushing himself so hard each day. But it was not just him though. The rookies all had to train themselves to prepare themselves for the future. War was coming and all Konoha shinobi knew that. Everyone was getting ready. There was no telling how hard this was going to be. War was not a nice thing. Many of them did not ever experience this before, so they had to be ready. They had to prepare themselves. While that was going on as Konoha was being prepared, Kumo was not lacking either. Over the past few years, Kumo had built their militarized strength. Everyone knew that out of the Great Five, Kumo had the most ninjas. While not as strong as some of the legendary names like the Yellow Flash, they had the most ninjas. And the Raikage was stubborn than anyone else. So this was going to be a bloodbath. There were several poses that were set up around the Fire Nation for when things were in dire situation. They were already being filled with top level ninjas. However, something was taking place at the moment that was going to kick off a flame. Or would it? Meanwhile, several ninjas were gathered. Those ninjas were the ninjas from the famous group known as the Akatsuki, as they were called, for a meeting. They all went quiet when they saw the man show himself on the hologram. Those eyes. The eyes that were said to be legend. As he thought that he was the only one in the world that possessed them, how wrong he was. Pain stood in front of them all. I am sure that you're all wondering about my last order to you all about not seeking out any of the tail beasts yet. Given that is the main reason for this organization, I'm sure that you're all curious. Well, last time you told us that you were gonna tell us when. Is it finally time to move out? Said Deidara. Unfortunately not. Just yet. Two things that is worth noticing. I believe that there is someone out there gathering tail beasts under our noses. What? Said Sasori. If this was at all possible, he would have known of this. How is this possible? Said Sasori. I have not heard about such a player. I am not fully certain yet, said Pain. However, I do believe that there's another player out there, keeping to himself. Recently, the one-tailed Jinchuriki has been missing for some time now. The three-tailed host has died some time ago. With the quantity of chocolate that the tailed beasts of the ocean possess, the time frame for it to be reborn has long surpassed its due date, and yet the beast has not shown itself. Either the beasts have become smart and hid themselves otherwise. I believe there is someone out there taking them away. Even the nine tails. I'm not certain how long it will take to reform, but with the time period that has already passed, there has been no sightings and nothing at all. This could be merely a speculation, but I do believe that there is someone out there that is trying to engross on our territory. I want you to go through your spy network, Sasori, and find out any information about this specific topic. Understood, said Sasori. What's the other reason, said Deidara. I am sure that you all are aware that the tensions between Kumo and Konoha is becoming higher than ever. It seems like war is on the horizon once again, said Kakazu as he seemed rather happy about that. In times of war, there was a lot of money to be made, especially afterwards. Kumo has recently required our services. Recently, since our slowment of the organization of the Bijou, the other nations are not too keen about us collecting them. Since the attack on the nine-tailed Jinchuriki, and with none of the nations in favor with one another, the information has not spread. Thus, Kumo has recently offered our services to bomb all of the outposts that Konoha has statured around their nation. They want to send a message that if Konoha truly push this, they will be erased off the map. This will be the driving moment to start this war. Within this war, it will be a better chance for us to collect the tail beasts, no doubt, when they send them on the battlefield. Unknown of our true motive, that is why. Deidara, Sasori, I want you guys to go and destroy all these outposts. Make sure that you're seen by many of the other Konoha shinobis. They know of our stature with being higher gun, so they will no doubt think that Kumo is behind this. Allow some of them to live so that they can report back to their Hokage. Is that understood? Deidara had a smile on his face. Well, I'll just show them what art truly is. It will be fun, he said. Hey, what about us? Don't I get to kill anyone? Asked Hidan. I'm afraid that your specific skills are not in need at the moment, but when something does come up, you will be notified. Understood? Yeah, Hidan said, a bit angry that he wasn't being called to, well, show them a fun time with his Lord Jashin. Time skip. As Uncle Midarashi has never felt so powerful in her life. She thought that she got stronger when Naruto had placed a mark on her, but that was nothing compared to this. She raised her hand. Almighty push, she said. There was a colossal boulder in front of her. There was no time frame that the force slammed into the boulder. It did not delay because her hand was directly in front of it. The boulder cracked before it exploded. As she turned towards another boulder, this time she focused. Almighty push! She blew a hole clean through it. As she turned, looking for approval. You're growing well. Faster than I expected. You're adapting rather well. Tell me, how do you feel? Said Naruto as he jumped down, looking over Uncle. Her outfit had changed some time ago. It's been a week since she had woken up. As she was now wearing a tight black shirt. Like incredibly tight. However, the fabric was comfortable. Over that, she was wearing a dark crimson jacket that accentuated her curves. It looked rather glorious on her. She was wearing a short skirt with high thigh leggings that came up, along with her high boots, as the outfit made her look striking and dangerous. No pain at all, she said, just like you said. In fact, I never felt this amazing before, she said, looking towards him. However, she got a glint in her eye. Hey, she said, what about Gurin? She's not gonna be as strong as me, is she? And what if she is? Naruto asked. You jealous? Of course I'm not, she said. I don't want you going replacing her with me though. And then acting like I'm not strong enough. As Naruto came up and caressed her cheek. I told you this before, uncle. You're irreplaceable. Something like that will never happen. That made her blush a bit. You know, she said, as she looked at him with her Byakugan. Sometime you speak these words and it contradicts most what I think because you're so calm. Never getting jolted or flustered in any situation. You're always having a backup plan for everything that comes your way. Despite giving me all this power, giving me all this trust, you still have not done what you said you're gonna do to yourself yet. And at this moment I have these eyes. Eyes that was said to belong to a god. Eyes that are supposed to make me surpass you by all rights, and yet you had so much trust in me to give me these. Without a second thought, she placed a hand on his chest. What if I were to betray you, she said, and bring you back to the village? What if this was all a trick, and I'm your enemy? As Naruto rests both of his hands by his side. You said to yourself, I trust you. As Uncle wrapped her arms around his neck as she planted a kiss on his lips. I'm so happy I decided to follow you instead of going back, she said. She was happy and she would literally do anything for him. He gave her his trust, he gave her everything that she always wanted. He gave her power. Before she could say anything else, his arm started to glow. A red seal. She stepped back as he went through handstand and slammed his hand down. Poof! As one of his subordinates arrived, it was Ice. That was his nickname. Sir, the Akatsuki's on the move. Which two? Said Naruto. Deidara and Sasori. They're flying on a white bird. Given their location, I believe that they're heading towards Konoha. If you head out now, you'll be able to stop them. A smile came on Naruto's face. Wait, the Akatsuki? Yes, said Naruto. They're a problem that we need to get rid of. After all, we're not looking for any competition. Cheer up, uncle, he said. It's time for you to test your powers on a real enemy. A look of glee came on her face. This is gonna be fun, she said. Time skip. The two were arguing, as Deidara and Sasori had a different thought of what art was. Deidara believed that it was a time of a moment where an explosion was so wonderfully crafted, it was just spectacular, remaining in the hearts of many for years to come, maybe even centuries. However, Sasori believed that art was everlasting. Art was something that was unable to die, something that was unable to rot, something that just remained forever. And the two contradict each other on that many times before. However, as they flew on the bird, the both of them picked up on something. As he had to turn the bird mid-air because something exploded right behind them, but the force was enough to blow them off said bird. Both men start a free fall. Small wires, like chakra threads, extended from Sasori as he attached to a tree and pulled him down safely. Deidara flipped as he landed on another bird that he created instantaneously. As they lowered themselves down towards the ground, they arrived in a forest area. However, the place was not that filled with trees. However, it was abandoned. No one seemed to be around here, as this was one of the intersections before they reached the Konoha, even land of fire. What the hell was that? Said Deidara as he looked around, as he couldn't find the source of that explosion. That is when Sasori felt something. Behind you, he said. Deidara jumped off the bird. As he sent it along, the bird exploded. However, Whatever it hit seemed to reflect the attack, because the explosion was blown away. It was then that they saw her. It was definitely a her. Her curves and her figure could tell them that. And not to mention her purple hair that was sticking out from the back. However, she was wearing a mask. A mask that was crafted to her face, it seems. It wasn't made of wood, but seemingly a material. The upper part of her face was being shown, but lower part was not. They had absolutely no idea who this was. Huh? Who the hell is this chick? Said Deidara as he narrowed his gaze. However, Sasori saw something rather alarming. Wait, that's the Rinnegan. Hey, what are you... Deidara's eyes went wide. Wait, that's the leader's eyes. How does she has it? Deidara narrowed his gaze as Sasori remembered what the leader said not too long ago. I see now. So you're the one that has been hunting tail beasts. Isn't that right, he said. Over to the side, Naruto perked up hearing that. The Akatsuki was smarter than he thought. He figured that they might find out that some of the tail beasts were not really popping back up. However, for them to link it to a person, he thought that they might think it was a natural occurrence. Well, said Naruto as he stepped out, causing both members to narrow their gaze towards him. It seems like you're smarter than I thought. Deidara looked down as he saw an individual. This was a man. He was wearing dark pants, flat sandals. He was wearing a strange vest of sorts. However, it was so stuck onto his body you might think that it was a second skin. But it had strange pockets over it though. He was also wearing a heiori, completely black, as it seemed to coat his figure completely, making him look like darkness itself when he placed his arms inside. The only thing they saw was red eyes looking at them, as he was wearing a face mask like a ski mask. However, it was well crafted with strange designs on it. His blonde hair, with strands of white running down it, came down toward his back, as it was a bit spiky. They narrowed their gaze towards these two individuals. So I'm right, said Sasori. And let me guess, you know of us as well. Yes, the Akatsuki. A criminal organization for, well, in it for the money at the moment. However, your goal for tail beasts will have to be cut short. And why the hell is that? Simple, said Naruto as he focused on Deidara. I'll be the one collecting them. And I'm afraid there's not enough for the two of us. Deidara started to laugh. You know, we were told to keep an eye out for you. And for you just randomly showing up here, it's perfect. Sasori, my man, he said. Why don't you stay out of this? I think I'll be the one to... Deidara had to duck as a missile shot by him, almost exploding on him. However, to his shot, the missile turned and came back toward his face. Quickly, a spider came from his palm as it became large as it jumped forward and blew up. The missile force was twice what he expected though. Sasori had to move away as the trees were obliterated. However, Deidara came out scot-free on top of an owl as he flew away, right upwards. Sasori turned towards the woman as he saw her hand returning back to normal, after it just turned into a canister. She flashed her hand sign. Summoning jutsu, she said. A bird poof into reality. It was large, twice as large as the owl Deidara was on. Its eyes showed the Rinnegan. It had black feathers, with a golden part going right from the beak straight down to the back of the tail, as it flapped its wing and took off after Deidara. Well, she has that handle. I guess it's just you and me. You know, I was rather shocked to hear that someone is out here doing the Akatsuki job. After all, my spy network is supposed to gather things like this. Whoever you are, you're smart. You've been able to keep off the radar for a very long time. And by that, I am very shocked. However, I'm afraid you made a mistake coming here because you're already dead. He opened his mouth as Senbon shot forward. Sasori was shocked though as he saw the individual move his body out of every single path. His body twisting and turning, it reminded him of someone from his past that he hated. The snake Sonin, his partner once upon a time. His body twist and weave out of every attack. As when the thousands of senbons stop, he was standing there completely unfazed. "Whoa, that's faster than I thought," he said, a smirk on his face. "Would you mind informing me of your name? After all, I love to know my dead opponent's name afterwards. And if you show anything rather impressive, I might just turn you into a work of art. You can call me N. It doesn't really matter much, really. I only need you for evidence." "What do you mean by that?" Sasori said. "Well, I have to leave a part of you here to make sure your members know that you were killed. Can't have them thinking that you've gone missing." "You stupid fool. Do you really believe that you'll be the one coming out of this alive?" "Well then, let us begin, shall we?" he said. The crooks of his arms opened up. 2 spears-like shot forward out of them. They were small, precise. However, before they could reach their target, they broke open. Thousands of senbons came out of each. It was too much to block and too much to dodge in that small, confined space. However, Sasori watched as the individual made a single hand sign before he took a breath. What followed was nothing more than majestic. A wind that appeared out of nowhere. And his exhale seemed to brought forward something even worse. All of the senbons were twisted and turned. Trees were rooted out of the earth. The entire area turned into a battlefield of pure destruction and chaos in the span of seconds. When Sasori looked at the work, he was astonished. He didn't understand how could someone have that amount of chocolate. Something like that shouldn't even be possible. He heard an explosion as he turned to see. It was Deidara falling from the heaven. However, he landed on another bird. Its right arm seemed to be a mess, though, as there was blood leaking from it, as he had a pain expression on his face. "You shouldn't take your eyes off your opponent, not even for a second." Sasori's body jumped back as his left arm was sliced off. Shocked by that, the weapon was thrown towards them. It was a sword, but it was rather easy to dodge, Sasori thought. To his surprise, though, he saw strange seals on the blade that lighted up and something came out of it as smoke. However, Sasori simply jumped right through the smoke, as he simply chuckled at the efforts. "It seems like you're more stupid than I thought. Do you not know what my true nature is known as? And you use poison on me. How stupid can you..." Sasori was confused. What is this?" As his body was breaking apart. "What have you done?" he said. "Oh, it's quite simple, really. Think of it as termites. However, they're made from chakra. But their reason for living is just like that. Eating away at anything that you come in contact with. But their most favorite is what your body is made of. Wood. You think that smoke of mine was poison? Saucer of the red sand. Your main thing is poison. Able to make some of the most deadliest poison to mankind. Do you really think I'd use poison against you? I got some information on you some time ago, and I did my research. You're one of the greatest puppeteers ever to live. I'm not that stupid." Sasori was forced to eject himself from the puppets as quickly as possible as he landed. He made sure to search himself as none of that got on him. Judging from the eject feature, he came out in a brisk way. He watched as the puppet body disintegrated, as a small little chakra insects eat away at it. For someone to come up with that function of a jutsu. "Who are you really?" Sasori said. "You are no mere man, are you?" "Well, not really." However, he raised his hand as the sword was shot back towards him as he caught it. The seals on it lightened up as it touched his hand. "You won't be living long enough to find out." He swiped the blade. Sasori revealed himself from the cloak, when the entire earth was gouged out. Wind chakra on that magnitude. Meanwhile, Deidara was pissed off. Maybe he jumped the gun a bit. This woman possessing the Ren gun was no simple feature. "What? You tired?" she asked. He grit his teeth in frustration. One of his arms was a mess, as he got caught up in her explosive. You haven't seen anything yet. I will show you and this entire world what art truly is. Before you die, he said as he launched several birds towards her. He was standing on his clay 2 dragon as it shot miniature birds out of its mouth. She saw them coming as she raised her hand. Pathetic. Almighty push! They were blown back by an inconsiderable force. The force was so wide that it actually slammed into him. He tried to ride his body on the ground, however. She was able to bring him down hard as he slammed hard. He cursed. The next thing he knew, a rod tear into his arm that was already mangled. He tried to pull it out, but the moment he made contact with it, he felt a foreign feeling wash over his system. Chakras spread through his entire body. Damn it, what is this? He said. My chakra is far more dangerous than before. It's overwhelming your system, she said. She launched another rod. It stabbed right into the mouth of his hand as he cursed out in rage. Deidara found himself completely at a loss. Her eyes, her power was too much. She was able to predict everything that he threw at her, even the small little spiders. He was unable to see her other eye because of the hair that came down. Unknown to him, she had the Byakugan as well. He placed tiny spiders in the path, however. She caught onto them. Everything he placed, she caught onto them. This woman was far from ordinary. I know he was paying the price. She landed beside him, as he completely was at the loss, at her mercy. She placed her rod toward his forehead, as he grit his teeth. Don't worry, she said. You're not gonna die yet. I need something first. As she reached and gripped his head, his eyes went wide. Back to the fight with Naruto and Sasori. As Sasori could tell that something was wrong with Deidara, however, he had his hands full right now. As he was fighting this person that was too dangerous for his liking, he had no choice but to pull that out. The third Kazekage. You know, if this is the case, that means that you're partially the reason why the third Shinobi War kicked it off. I mean, they thought that it was Kumo. And then, I must say, you surprised even me, said Naruto. However, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You have no idea the power that I have at my fingertips. The third Kazekage opened his mouth as sand started to emerge. Iron sand. And now you die. Fortress of death, he said. The sand spiraled out in a wide arc, coming to entrap Naruto as it surrounded him. Well, this is quite the conundrum, he said. It then shot forward and impaled him from all over his body, his skull, his chest. Every single section of him was impaled. As I said, you stood no chance. You know, for someone that is known to be an X-rank ninja, you are rather easily fooled. Sasori looked down towards his shadow, as a hand reached out of it and gripped him by the face. The hand picked his puppet body off the ground. However, Sasori had another trick up his sleeve. His chest compartment opened up. A long blade came out of it and stabbed right through Naruto's chest, right in his heart. Sasori grit his teeth that he was caught off guard so easy, but now it was done. You seem calm. Do you think I'm defeated? Sasori's eyes went wide in shock. This wasn't possible. He hit his heart. Such mere wounds cannot kill someone like me, I'm afraid. Sasori felt the impact as his head was crushed into the earth. The force was devastating. The Kazekage puppet flashed back toward his side. However, the visual aspect was not there. The sword from earlier rooted from out of the iron sand. The sword gathered a lot of chakra and impact from the handle where there was a seal. The blade elongated and stabbed right to the back of the puppet, causing him to stop as the front of the blade expanded wide enough to rip the thing in half. A pissed off Sasori released fire from his joints, cooking Naruto alive. To his shot though, Naruto was able to bypass the speed of his inferno. Sasori picked himself up. His face was cracked as he was angry. Do you know what you have just done? He said. Do you know what you have just destroyed? As Naruto stomped on the head of the puppet, just to piss him off even more. Sasori was pissed off even though his features were not showing that he was, because he was, well, a puppet. I'm going to enjoy dissecting you piece by piece to see what makes you tick, said Sasori. I'm afraid that is no longer optional, because you see, you were able to wound me. And right at that moment you made a mistake. Haven't you noticed? Sasori noticed when he looked down. He had felt the buildup of chakra, but he didn't have time. He looked down towards his left palm as he saw there was a seal placed on his body. And the blood, it was reacting strangely as the seal activated. What have you done? The blood came alive as it restricted his joints, caused his body to drop like a sack of potato. What is this? How did you... Oh, I see now, said Sasori. When you held on to me, you placed a seal on this blood of yours. It's working as a conduit with a seal, able to restrict my movements. Naruto clapped. Huh, you're a lot smarter than I give you credit for. Still, I'm afraid that I'm quite upset by this turn of events. You stabbing me was not what I planned. However, when you did, I realized that I had a perfect opportunity. But I realized I'm still not powerful enough yet. However, the process will begin soon. What the hell are you talking about? Nothing to fret yourself with. But it seems like I have to get ready for the future. However, I'm looking forward to what I have to do. After all, I can't have someone as pathetic as you wound me or even touch my skin. As Naruto walked over, you think this is over? You think that the Akatsuki has been beaten? Sasori said. You have no idea. Naruto stomped in his face, crushing it under his boots. I'm afraid I don't want to hear what you have to say. As Naruto reached into his chest compartment and tore out his heart canister, Uncle arrived as she was dragging the dead Deidara over towards them. I presume you get what I asked for, he said. Of course, she said, a smirk on her face. He wasn't even that powerful. I mean, without him flying away, he's real pathetic. Not to mention he made the greatest mistake ever. He underestimated me. As Naruto smiled. Time skip. As something was wrong. Sasori and Deidara should be back by now, but something was wrong. Zetsu was sent to scout the earth to find out where the hell they were. As Zetsu came to a stop. Wait, what is that? Said White Zetsu. I don't know, said Black Zetsu, as they made their way over. What the hell? White Zetsu said. What he saw shocked and alarmed him. As he saw the chest compartment of Sasori lying there. A kunai was buried right through it, pinning it against a tree. And underneath that there was a head of Deidara. Who the hell did this? White Zetsu said. It seems Toby was right. We do have competition. Competition that we underestimated greatly. Well. Pain is not gonna like this. Toby will be even more angry. However, I wonder who did this though. To take down these two, and to cause such destruction. Seems like we have a big problem. Something that we need to fix if we're gonna achieve what we originally planned. Whoever this is, they need to die. Time skip. So far, Sasuke-sama, no one has found out about Orochimaru's death, or if your controlment of the Land of Sound. As the shinobi in front of Sasuke bowed his head. Good, said Sasuke. And as the ninjas departed, yes sir, they left this morning. Any news they find they shall send back. Good, Sasuke said. You're dismissed. As the man walked away, Sasuke smirked. So far everything was working good for him. He had several shinobi searching for the Akatsuki, mainly searching for his brother, who he was gonna kill. Kabuto had been cooperative, knowing that if he stepped out of line he wouldn't like it. So was the Sound 4. He had to execute at least 15 people already, who dare try to talk down to him. those that believed that they were in charge. And there was also another few that had worked under Gurin, Gozu and those guys, believing that Gurin was a better master, so he had to slaughter them. However, he did have trustworthy people at his side. Freeing Shigetsu was a good thing to do, the man had served him quite well. And Karen, when she heard about this, she pretended like she did not care. However, he was surprised by her attitude. She was loyal to him, and it seems like she had a thing for him just like the girls back in the old days. And he used that to his advantage, placing Karen in charge of the Zone 4 movements, as he couldn't control everything at once. And Shigetsu gained some control as well, and he became rather cocky with it against the other ninjas. As long as they don't step out of line, he wouldn't have to kill them all. So far everything was going good. Soon Itachi will die, and he will remain supreme. And he will restart his clan. There was many favorable females here that would be a good match for the Uchiha, that will bear strong children. He will make the Uchiha clan better than ever, stronger than ever. Something that the clan never was. And he will be the rise and change. He will be the thing that changed everything. His mindset was made up and nothing will change that at all. As that brought a smirk to his face as he sat in his throne. He should have done this a long time ago. But still, he was already on the right path, and nothing will stop him. Time skip. Gurin was awakening. The sign of the chamber being finished. The water filed out into the bottom recesses of the tube. As the thing opened up, steam coming out. Gurin's entire body was glowing. Her eyes snapped open as she instantly winced. The place was brighter than she expected to be. It wasn't really, but her body was getting used to this sensitivity of just stepping back out of a chamber. She has been in there for the last 2 weeks. The fuel inside kept her body hydrated, well fed and protected. Nothing to worry about, while everything worked perfectly. Gurin stepped out, waddling on her feet. As she tried to reel it, but her legs gave out on her, as she collapsed back down in it. She was confused. It was the same for me, a voice said. Her eyes snapped to the left as she did not even notice someone was in there. Who are you? Naruto told me that you will be emerging very soon. He went off to do something else. And I figured I would see. What would be the big deal when you first step out? You're uncle, aren't you? You know of me? Yes. Naruto told me about you. You've been helping him. However, this is the first time I'm seeing you. Of course, I was to be kept a secret, Uncle said. I just came here to check you out to see what's gonna be so special about you. As Gurin looked towards the woman, your eyes. He did work on you as well. Of course. To stand by his side, you have to be strong. Because what he's attempting will put him over the edge of every other shinobi in this world. I'm just here to make sure that you are strong enough to stand by his side. You doubt my strength and my loyalty. Of course I do. You were once a subject of orochimaru. And until you fully prove yourself, I would never trust you. However, for the sake of Naruto-kun, and because of how loyal I am to him, I will work with you. But get this to your head right now. If you ever try to turn on him, I will kill you myself with my bare hands. Do you understand that, said Uncle? There is no need for you to worry about something like that. I will never betray Naruto. But I would watch your tone. You're not the only strong one here. Please. When I just got out of that capsule, I was out of it for a while. My body had to get used to my new powers. Right now I can crush you with a thought. Is that so? Said Gurin. As the place started to tremble with both girls, releasing her chakra, Gurin was shocked by the amount of power she now possessed. It brought a feral grin to her face. Tuh, said Uncle as she turned her gaze. Huh? What's wrong? Scared? Of course not. You just what? I never expected you to be so hot, said Uncle. As Gurin looked down and realized she was still not wearing any clothes. She knew that she should be embarrassed right now, but she just wasn't. She wasn't that kind of person besides. They were both girls. So you are jealous. Afraid that I'll take Naruto-kun from you. What? Of course not. You can never replace what we have. Are you so sure? I mean, he chose me to serve him. He helped me. And he made me powerful. I'm the same, you fool. Yeah, but as you see, I'm a lot more hotter than you. And what the hell makes you think that, said Uncle. Well, from my look, I can tell. Puh, you haven't seen me naked, Uncle said. If you would understand that. You're far out of his league. And mine. Say what you want to say, said Gurin as she pulled herself up. It doesn't matter. I am loyal to Naruto Uzumaki, and there's nothing that will change that. So believe what you want and say what you want. As she saw clothing on the other stand to the side, she took them and walked away. She came back a few minutes later well dressed, as she was wearing a green skirt, black tights, a dull purple shirt with strange black markings on it. She looked rather hot in the uniform, as Uncle eyes started to wonder. Yes, Uncle cared a lot about Naruto and she loved him as well. However, she was bi-curious by mind. She hadn't tried anything, but she was just merely speculating. And besides, she wanted to know if she can fully trust this woman as well. After what she went through to make Naruto trust her, she wasn't so sure about anyone else, as she believed that she and Naruto can do this without anyone else's help. Where is he? Said Gurin. As she looked around, I'm afraid he's not here at the moment. However, he'll be back soon. Gurin sighed as she looked in the mirror, as she kept on clenching and opening her fists, as Uncle noticed that. It's unreal, isn't it? Gurin glanced towards her. Yeah, you're right about that. I never thought I'll feel this powerful. And I feel like I'm getting stronger. Oh, you have no idea. Once you fully acclimate to the power that is now able for you to wield, you will feel downright unstoppable. I mean, look at me. Some years ago, I never thought I would ever reach this level of power. However, now, I'm like a completely different person, all because of him. He told me what happened with your little friend. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. Sasuke Uchiha was always an asshole from day one. So when the time comes, you should relish in killing him. Oh, don't worry, I will. That bastard would pay for what he did to me, said Gurin as she felt herself so much more powerful. It was just so amazing. She really never thought she could reach this level of power. And with this, she felt unstoppable. The things that Naruto did to her put her on a completely different level. She was ready to jump at Sasuke and kill him now. However, she knew that jumping the gun would not help anyone. And besides, her loyalty was never shaken once she pledged her loyalty to someone. So she would not go beyond what Naruto says and doing things stupid. However, the thought of getting back at the little bastard, it brought her pure joy. And with how strong she is right now, she knew that she can. It's just a matter of time. Meanwhile, a few Konoha shinobis were watching the borders. It was nighttime. They just changed shift. The other censor was late. Where the hell was... The man felt something grab him from behind, covering his mouth. The next thing he knew, he was yanked into pure darkness. Time skip. The Raikage was downright furious. 2 weeks ago, he assigned the Akatsuki to do a job for him. Yes, he did not pay them yet. After all, they had to do the job first. But for them not to bring results, from what he's heard about the organization, they had a 100% track rate. And yet they failed to accomplish his task. He has never used the organization before. But with the amount of money they were asking for this task, he agreed to pay. And he would if they had completed the job, but they did not. And so far he hasn't heard a word from them. He didn't know what was going on, but he was pissed off. Although, recently, he sent Yugito out on a mission. Yes, it was risky to send her out on a mission. However, there was a reason. Arashi was back in town, as he had several business to deal with. Even with this war going on, there were still things that had to be dealt with to make sure Kumo was still in top condition. Arashi had asked for her personally, as the Raikage realized that there was a growing relationship there. And if he could use it to benefit Kumo, screw the war, he would benefit his village. But he was still gonna keep an eye out, that is why he sent extra protection. Darue was there as well, along with Team Samui. It was just a mission to assist Arashi towards the local town not too far out of their border, as this town creates a specific fuel that will be beneficial for the railway when Kumo integrate their tracks. Just like the Land of Snow, they were going to be building trains. However, the place had to be renovated and built out. The Raikage was still making his plans. But before they jump ahead in towards that, they had to get the special fuels. Something that would make the trains even better than the ones that were in the Land of Snow, which Raikage was immensely proud of. He has went over the paperwork and everything, making sure that there was nothing being overcharged or being placed to mess with his functions. This war couldn't have come at a worse time. But so far Konoha has not made a move, and neither has he. He knew that the Hokage thought that he would be the one to make the first move, but he will not. Unless they threw the first stone, he would not do a single thing. So he was now just waiting. However, his mind couldn't help but worry about Yugito on that mission. She was one of his greatest assets, however. With the rise in tension that was going on, he needed the backup of the Oda family on his side. Their money could come into great help if there was any financial problem. And with the growing feelings that is rising between the Oda and Yugito, well, things were looking good for his village. However, his mind was not settling about the issue though. Meanwhile, that was going on. Run! Someone shouted at them, as the group had to flee for their life. It happened so quickly. Samui, Amoy, and Karu had to run for their life. They had scratches over them. However, they were relatively fine. They had to report back in, orders of their leader Amoy, as he was in charge of this mission. Things went to hell so fast, as Samui and the others run for as fast as they could out of the village. How did things went so bad so fast? Flashback. The group arrived at a small town known as Tokiwa. Arriving to Tokiwa, they stayed there, as the leader spoke to Arashi on behalf of Kumo. The others could attend the meeting as well, as they were talking about the village as well. The Raikage gave them orders, so it was nothing too strenuous though, but some of it went over their head. But so far everything went well for Kumo. Because of the timing, they stayed for the night, Arashi being a civilian, as he was provided watch. Amoy watched the outside as they stayed in a rather fancy hotel in the village. Yes, the hotel was fancy. Things was going so well, as Arashi was in his room. Yugito was there to provide better protection, although the others knew that she had a thing for him and he seemed to like her as well, and they were happy for her. That was until the hotel exploded. Now that was baffling. A side of the hotel exploded, causing debris and shrapnel to shot everywhere. Yugito tried to flee out of the place, however. Dori was outside. When he saw the explosion, he was shocked as no one got by him. Rushing towards the location Dori saw, Yugito stepped out as she dropped to her knees. She was wincing in pain. There was a strange seal applied to her body. Yugito, he said, rushing towards her, however, before he could get too close, several ninjas appear out of nowhere. Now this came to him as a shock. Where did they come from? They attacked him relentlessly. The other members burst out of the window as they rushed down the side of the building that was being torn apart from the inside. Something was wiping everything out as the place was going up in smokes. What the hell is going on? Amoy said as he dragged his blade. He was attacked by a random ninja he had to fight off against, as the man was clashing against strange weapons. They looked like kunas, but they were too long. All of the individuals had on masks, hiding their true features as they clashed with them. Yugito was on the ground screaming. Whatever that seal was, or how it was applied, they did not know. It was affecting her badly. Coughing could be heard. Yugito! Yugito! Arashi says. He rushed outside. Arashi, get back! The voice of Dori yelled as he had to clash against the shinobi. Black lightning, he said, as he released a black panther that started to decimate the foes. Arashi saw Yugito do as he rushed towards her. However, a ninja dropped right in front of him. As the group eyes went wide as they rushed to his aid, however, before they could, he was stabbed right in the chest. His eyes went wide, blood leaking from his mouth. They watched as the assailant pulled his weapon and brought it down towards Yugito. Before he could do, the entire front of the hotel exploded, swallowing them up in a massive explosion. All of them were forced to jump away. The bodies were probably destroyed in the explosion. As the others' eyes went wide, everything was so good at once, they checked the place. Now, chaos was reigning all over. They were able to regroup their way. "What do we do?" said Samui, as she looked rather disheveled and out of it, as there was cuts and scrapes from the debris and the explosion. However, in front of them were a small army. "Shit," he cursed. "They could not take this and win. Run." "What?" "All of you run. Get as far away as possible, hold them off." He knew that if they just run like that, well, they will eventually caught up to them and they will die. "But we can't just—" "I said run!" he yelled at them. Someone looked towards two of them. "Go. Now," she said. She turned towards him, though. "You better catch up." As they move off, they had to report this in. They all could not just die here. This was definitely an attack from Konoha, because who else would have attacked Kumo shinobis like this? However, how did they know? They made sure to keep everything a secret. Meanwhile, in the main building in the village, the leader watched all of this went off. There was not a single other person in that hotel other than them. The rest were, from what he know, clones. Someone had came to him a few days prior, offering him a deal of a lifetime. Money. Money that would help his village a lot. The amount was surely ridiculous, but when the funds were transported into his bank, he realized that this was no joke. So, one hotel, so what? The amount of money that he got, he could build 10 hotels. As long as when they came back to investigate, he told them that he saw a few Konoha shinobis. He didn't know what that was about, however, the person that paid him did not elaborate. But the money was too much to pass up, so he accepted the money. Time skip. Yugito opened her eyes. She could not move her arms or legs. She was strapped down on a table. "What the hell? Where am I?" she said. "It seems you're awake." "Good. I wanted to say a final goodbye. After all, you will bring forth the catalyst I'm looking for. The start of this war." "Or the hell?" As she focused her eyes. "Arashi," she said, as he was standing there with a smile. Her eyes widened as she remembered what happened. What happened in that hotel room? You bastard!" she yelled with rage in her voice. He stroked her cheek as she tried to bite him. Now, kitten. No need to be so feisty. You will be dead soon anyways." Her eyes widened at that. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If what's the next part and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notifications to be posted. But I'm over now. See you guys soon. Peace.